Step it up, step it up, step it up, Dutty Bookman.
That most of the global community knows you by your connection with this movement that's sweeping the planet called the Reggae Revival. The Reggae Revival, for those who don't know, is a movement that has started organically in Kingston, Jamaica, with some of the young artists, predominantly Rastafari, who have popularized again among the young people in Jamaica roots reggae music. But one of the important topics to note, and one of the things that Dutty Bookman has consistently been hammering in and highlighting, is that the Reggae Revival is more than just music. The Reggae Revival is also artwork. The Reggae Revival is also dance. The Reggae Revival is also the literary arts. So the Reggae Revival term itself was coined by Dutty Bookman, and this is again one of the reasons that, you know, he's gone to Europe, he's been on radio programs, broadcast globally, and, you know, the name Dutty Bookman has gone out to the four corners of the globe for the Reggae Revival. What's very interesting about this book, and I think this alone is reason enough for everybody here to purchase it, is that while this movement was rising out, Dutty Bookman is actually writing in his blog about the uprising. And in fact, in the book I found it interesting, initially you called it the Jamaican Revival.
Yes.
So I want you to speak a little bit about, you know, why the Jamaican Revival initially in the book, why the evolution to the Reggae Revival, and the part that you play for those who may not be as familiar as we are.
Yes, give thanks. So, you know, this was, as you rightfully said, this is what people really identify me with right now. The Reggae Revival concept, to name it, it really came out of a need to provide, however you want to put it, a buzzword, a marketable term, whatever, so that we could actually have a discussion about what I saw happening and what many others who were underground in this underground movement saw happening. But because of my love of documentation, this was something that I really wanted to offer. Like, I wanted to say, let's name this thing, let's name it from within, because we know how popular Jamaican culture is, and people the world over are just watching, waiting for something big to come out of a place like Jamaica so they can run down there and say, oh, so this thing is happening, and they will want to take control of this cultural product. But if we name it, then we are already in control from the start, you know. So actually it was at this was written November 21st, 2011, Jamaican Revival. That was a day before the book launch of Tried and True, my first book. And that was launched in Jamaica. So I went down to Jamaica, and I actually did deliberately time, I deliberately timed this blog post to be the day before my book launch, because I had intended to talk about it there too. So I wanted to kind of give people 24 hours to kind of just overview what's going on, and then I'll come and tell you more, you know. So at the book launch I said it again, you know, and it was a very well attended launch too, so I give thanks for that. And a lot of the you know, the artists who are now seen as a part of, you know, the leadership of the Reggae Revival, you know, I was really lucky to have a lot of them in attendance, you know, like Protege performed at the launch, Janine, I recall her standing to the side against the wall, you know, Five Steez, who's a rapper from Jamaica, who's really championing the cause of bringing authentic hip-hop back to Jamaica. He was in the audience, you know. I didn't personally see Chronix in the audience, but on a day after, he came up to me and we spoke, and I gathered that he was there from that conversation, you know. And Kabaka Pyramid was there, and it was just, you know, you could sense the energy in the atmosphere, you know, and that was, you know, probably one of my biggest Fatidic moments too, you know, if I had to, you know, give a personal record of my favorite moments in life, that was probably one of them. You know, so the Jamaican Revival was me trying, as I said, to give that voice, to say, let us start a discussion nationally so that we can decide what this thing really is and then put it out to the world. But as fate would have it, the world caught on pretty quickly, and quicker than Jamaica caught on to it, by far, you know. And so it became a global phenomenon without us being prepared to talk about it. And so people start to be interviewed individually before we have even come together collectively. So from the start it has had challenges because people are, one person is saying one thing, the other person is saying another thing. But it's a blessing in disguise as well because that is the discussion happening. And it's happening on a global level immediately. So we skip the stage of coming together privately or whatever and then putting it to the world. We're just going to talk about it in the world now, you know. So I like that it happened the way it happened. I give thanks because I would never have planned it that way. But as the jazz match Kwasi rightfully said, like, there's a lot of focus played on the musical artists. And I think we really need to see that the Reggae Revival is the spirit of our time, you know. The words came about because I like the Harlem Renaissance. I wanted to see the Harlem Renaissance kind of vibe where you can go on Google and type in 2 words and you get time and place, an era of history. And so we have that in the Reggae Revival now. Actually, it was because of Protege why the name got changed to Reggae Revival, because he just did it. He was so inspired that night when he performed at my book launch. He actually had a performance on the opposite end of the island right away, and he raced all the way to Negril to perform that night. And the day after that, he called me and he told me how the performance went, and he was like, Dutty, I just had this wicked energy because of your book launch, and I just go on the stage and I deal with it, you know. And then a few weeks after that, I just remember him just putting, like, him sending me an email or something, and I guess the song was attached and it was just Reggae Revival. And I was like, whoa, and it features Romain Virgo, who is like one of the iconic voices of this generation, you know. And even though Romain Virgo wasn't involved in the underground movement that Protege and the rest of us were a part of, we still, it's not an exclusive movement. It's a generational movement. So Romain Virgo is the Reggae Revival. Whoever is alive now, in whatever field, is the Reggae Revival.